Welcome to Love and Life. I'm Dr. Karen Anderson Abril here with my co-host,
Pastor Elliot Anderson.
And Love and Life is your place to hear conversations grounded in psych research, psychotherapy,
and biblical truth
to help us thrive in love and life. Michelle, Tricia, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having us on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, likewise. So just a quick little backstory. There is the best grocery store on the planet. I know that sounds so weird. When we first went, we were visiting friends down in Marco, and they had heard about this epic grocery store. I'm like, and it was a rainy day. So we're like, okay, you want to take us to your favorite grocery store? Sure. And then we fell in love because Seed to Table is in fact amazing. And they have all the things, and it is Seed to Table. And there's a whole lot more to say about that, although we have no collab with them, although I'd love to at some point because they're amazing. But that's where I met Michelle, in the section for wellness, which has, of course, a lot of organic and herbal and things that are anything other than big pharma, which is so on brand for Love and Life, because as our community knows, Elliot and I are very, it's not even that we're like, oh, let's think about something else. We're hardcore anti-pharma, which if you want to know why, I think, again, our community knows why, but if you don't, please reach out. There is just so much that has been hidden from the public, from just even the inception of these drugs, where they only have to have 2 clinical trials, which the pharmaceutical company themselves can fund those trials. So what do you think they're going to find out? That the drug is safe and effective, blah, blah, blah. I could go on and on. I won't right now because I want to welcome our guests and have them share about what they've come across in their own journey to provide other ways to be healthy, to make America healthy again, keeping pharma way, way, way out of it. So ladies, tell us about your journey to come up with this product and tell us why it's so exciting and revolutionary.
I think you hit it on the head, really, in terms of how we need to get away from the focus on sickness that the pharmaceutical industry has. And this, CellFit has been a journey for me as a biochemist, starting, in the lab, spending a lot of years behind a microscope. I spent the first part of my career at Brown University in the Brown Medical Program. And it was actually an NIH protocol where we were looking at how healthy cells behave. And I'm loads of fun at a cocktail party when I start talking about lymphokine activated killer cells. I'm a hoot. And so I'll spare you all of those details. But the bottom line with that is that I developed a protocol for malignant melanoma and for Burkitt's lymphoma in generating something called lymphokine activated killer cells, or LAK cells for short. And it was harnessing something that is produced naturally in the body called interleukin 2. Now, we have a number of interleukins now. This is back in 1993. And now we have, I think we're up to over 20 interleukins. But the takeaway for me, the key that sparked my interest below those many years ago in harnessing your own body's healing power, was that when you use what your body recognizes, what your body produces, and just augment it to a therapeutic level, you can solve you really solve all the problems in your biological atmosphere. If you have healthy cells, you have a healthy body. And if you have a healthy body, you have a healthy life. It's pretty simple. But then scroll forward, full disclosure, I was part of the big bad pharmaceutical world. I spent half of my career at Pfizer, at Bristol Myers Squibb. And I saw it from the other side. So in my work in the lab, I saw how the body can heal itself and how healthy cells behave. In the pharmaceutical world, I saw how cells get sick from pharmaceutical products. And then pharma just creates something else to perpetuate the cycle. They fix what they broke, and on and on and on and on. Well, we have a better way of doing things. And thus, all these many years later, is when I developed CellFit. It's the first ever therapeutic enzyme, new category of healthcare. It's the first and only. It is something that your body naturally recognizes because your body naturally produces it, but not at a high enough level to be therapeutic. So when you take CellFit, you're taking something that is going to restore your cellular health. It's something, again, your body uses and makes, and so your body's already hungry for it. We have a skincare line. Your skin is already thirsty for it. So it goes right to work to, I call it the skeleton key of the cellular system. So anything that's broken, we have, Michelle says 3 categories of clients. I focus on 2 bigger buckets. One is if something is broken, CellFit fixes it. It opens up all those cellular systems, whether it's your cerebrovascular, your cardiovascular, your musculoskeletal, your gastroenterologic, your endocrine system. CellFit fits all of those cells, opens it up, and gets the healing power in there, and your body does the rest of the work. It blooms into health. And then there's another category of, people are already at a normal level, but they want to take their game even to the next level. So we have some super athletes that are on this. We have a bodybuilder that's using this. We're talking to some professional sports teams, the USTA, the NFL, because they're obviously operating at a high level. They want to take it to the next level in their game. So it's really that, but the bottom line is cellular fitness. That's what we strive to bring to everyone. We're on fire with this product with CellFit, and we want to make sure that this gets in everybody's hands because we really want to make America truly healthy again from the inside out.
A few years ago, I started having trouble falling asleep, and I started taking melatonin because I thought it was a natural way to try to relax myself, calm myself down, and go to sleep. But it turns out that as a hormone supplement, melatonin can disrupt our other hormones and we can build up an immunity to it. So when we started partnering with the wellness company, I was super excited to try their melatonin-free sleep aid called Restful Sleep. It includes passion flower, chamomile, valerian root, among other herbs and natural ways to help calm us down and get us ready to go to bed. I've been using it for a couple months now, and Restful Sleep helps my mind and body quiet themselves and ease into sleep. If you've ever had insomnia, you know how brutal it is. The wellness company's Restful Sleep can help. Head over to twc.health/lovelife and enter promo code LOVELIFE at checkout for 15% off your entire order. That's twc.health/lovelife and promo code LOVELIFE for 15% off your entire order. So Tricia, when you say all that, one thing that comes to mind for me is there is, because of MAHA, because thank God we get people questioning. I mean, COVID, one silver lining is people started questioning, wait a minute, this thing you call a vaccine, it's not the typical definition. Oh, the CDC changed the definition of vaccine. But people, because of the heavy-handedness and in my mind, the tyrannical, of course, mandates to me of an experimental product were horrifically, it was just a tyranny at a scale I never thought I'd see as an American. So I think people like me were already anti-pharma, and so now we're just guns blazing. And then people who were maybe like, well, I don't know, I kind of trust, they've lost trust. So we are seeing much more discourse in these realms, thank God. One thing that I'm seeing more people talk about, and I've tried to do some work myself, is the idea, like you're saying, at the cellular level. And I'm going to say some words that I don't fully understand, and then maybe you can help me. So for example, mitochondria is something that if our cells have high, efficiently functioning mitochondria, we're healthier in all the things. And one thing, for example, intermittent fasting is a way to give your cells a break from all the input of nourishment, and the autophagy, if I'm saying that right, can clean out some of the cells. So how does this, is this correlated to what CellFit does? Is this another factor that's also important, or where does that fit into the conversation we're having today?
Yes, I love this. Anytime I can talk about intracellular activity, I enjoy it because most people don't want to have that discussion with me.
I do. I'm the nerd.
Right. Well, and you're talking primarily about, cytophages, which are the kind of natural killer cells in your cellular system. And the mitochondria is part of that milieu, and it also is where all of the programming in your cell is housed, like the mRNA that gets in that affects the DNA, the deoxyribonucleic acid. Now, when you are correct in saying that this was not a vaccine, this was really a gene therapy. What some folks might not realize is that scientists have been trying to do, I call them the mad scientists on the other side of the equation that are fueled with, they want to crack open the cell and they almost want to, do Frankenstein science. This has been something in the making for over 20 years, this mRNA technology. the opportunity that was presented with this pandemic, as I call it, as probably some others do too, what was presented is, opportunity to force feed. They couldn't get this in because clinical trials hadn't been done, because there was questionable science behind it by a lot of the body politic of science, because there is that too. This was opportunity that was ripe for saying, in an emergency, you get this emergency usage authorization, and the politicians took advantage. The politicians within the scientific community hopped on it, and then we have this horrible circumstance where I won't get into this now, it's a different discussion, but the BioNTech version, that was actually what was approved for emergency authorization, but that's not what was produced and what you got. So that's a whole other legal discussion. But to your point of where did the science go wrong, and so very, very wrong, it's that it did disturb all of this intracellular activity, and it did tap into the core mechanics of these cells. And interestingly, we have several patients on CellFit who had VAX damage. And we have, if you go to our Facebook page, we have a website, cellfithealth.com. But on our Facebook page, CellFit Health, we have a lot of testimonials. We have 100% positive reviews. We're one of the few companies ever to have that, one of the few businesses on Facebook. But when you go and see the testimonials, one that comes to mind is a gentleman who had cardiovascular damage from the vaccine. He couldn't breathe. He couldn't get out. He couldn't walk his dog. Now he's been on CellFit, and he gave us a tremendous success story testimonial about how he's not back to 100%, but he's getting there. And that's because, as you brought up, that when you have that turbulence in your cellular environment, in the mitochondria, in whatever cell system you're talking about, you are now not only firing on fewer cylinders, but you're trying to make up the difference, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And CellFit comes in, it fixes everything, it cleans everything up, it works within the mitochondrial atmosphere of the cell, and it brings it back to stasis. And then from there, once you achieve stasis, then you go on to becoming better and better and upping your game. So in that context, we address it at the cellular level, and it's everything you're talking about that pharma breaks, we come in and fix it. We fix what's broken.
That sounds wonderful. Yeah. And just before we hop over to Michelle, because she's back, when you're talking about these vaccine injuries, which we have folks who believe that there's a long COVID situation. That could be. I don't know. I've also heard some of the doctors, the dissident doctors, who I actually trust much more than your typical doctors who went around jabbing all their patients and getting nice kickbacks from the insurance companies for doing so. When we have doctors who are saying, is it long COVID or is it long vax injury? You're saying CellFit is a treatment that can help with what has been disrupted per the mRNA gene therapy.
Yes. And the two, what you mentioned, the vax injury or the quote unquote long COVID, they're not that much of a distinction from each other. And I'll tell you why. Because at the core of all these problems, it's the spike protein. So whether there was, the big difference between the vax and getting COVID naturally, well, a couple of things. Natural immunity is always better. Even Dr. Fauci admitted that before he backpedaled on that. Yeah. But the other thing is, and I said this from the beginning, and Michelle is my witness, I said this from the very beginning. Number one, I saw the structure of what happened with the virus, and I said that was lab engineered, because I know normal cells, I know what they look like. That was, you don't get to that spike protein from that cell in just a pangolin, just a jump species to species. That is a very intricate maneuver that had to be lab created. Secondly, the spike protein, I said, there's no off switch. I said, the biggest issue, and I contacted my friends in pharma, I said, you cannot tell me that this is safe because you're assuming that as the dose, as the body metabolizes what's been injected, that the spike protein production levels off. I said, I cannot find anything biochemically that proves that. I said, there is no documentable off switch. That raised a red flag. So what happens when there's no off switch? That spike protein is going to be produced over and over and over and over and over again. Now, I've also said, not to get too much into the weeds, but if you know of a disease, there's a disease called progeria, which is one of the rarest diseases on the planet. It's the Benjamin Button disease in a way in reverse.
Oh,
He got younger over time. This is you get quickly,
I've heard of that. Yes.
old very quickly. What my theory has always been is that when this spike protein is produced and it starts messing with all these cell systems, whatever your predisposition is, you're going to get that even sooner. It's almost vaccine-induced progeria. That's kind of my phrase. It's a weird name. But here's why that matters, is because in order to stop the progression of the manufacturing in your own body, that now it's been turned on, in order to turn that off, there has to either be an off switch on the mRNA, which there isn't one, or you have to stop it within your own body. And the reason that some people don't go on to get the problems is they have a fully, almost over-functioning immune system in a way. Many people don't have that. That's why CellFit comes in and helps, because not only does it help get all your cell systems back into alignment, but it helps your body create that off switch in the cellular mitochondria.
So, okay, so I want to bring it back to the average person as well, because what I'm hearing is, in general, I mean, we've got the whole COVID thing, which again, I should have asked you for an entirely other episode of that, because we could go on for days about that. But the last 5 years have been a real wake up call, I think, for many, many people, praise God. But in general, you're saying that anyone, so someone who's even a healthy 35-year-old, or you're saying some of these elite athletes, there's going to be something on the cellular level that they may be predisposed to having a weakness. Maybe it's hereditary. Maybe it's because they train so hard. But so for the average person, because when I first met Michelle and we were talking, she's like, basically it's going to help you no matter who you are or what you're going through. And I thought, well, that's kind of like almost like a panacea. It sounds too good to be true, right? But it's also, I think about something that is like probably the only drug that I ever take, which is aspirin, which I know there's problems with that as well, but it's been around since the 1800s. And it's like, how does your body know when you take the aspirin, where the aspirin should go to give you the pain relief? So I'm wondering, is CellFit kind of like this, where your body's going to receive CellFit and go, oh, I know where I need it? Is that kind of what's happening?
That's a brilliant way. We need you on my marketing team, because that's a brilliant way to simply convey what it does. And the simple answer is yes. The reason why the answer is yes is, as I mentioned, I call it the skeleton key to all the cellular systems, right? So on your cell surface, there are things called receptors. And then anything that kind of orbits, think of it like, little spaceships going around. If it's going to dock on the cell, it forms something called a ligand. It sits on the receptor, and then those cells communicate, whether they empty one product in one cell to the other or whatever it is. And that produces a chain reaction as well. So think of it like, as a skeleton key will open almost any door. There are very specific keys, like there are cytotoxic T cells, there's eosinophilia, there are neutrophils. Those are very specific actors. Our active ingredient, our therapeutic enzyme, is something that's that skeleton key. It can open anything. And so when you ask, how does your body recognize it? All those little docking stations have information. This information is broad and general for this specific molecule to sit there and open it up. And so when you use the aspirin analogy, so aspirin knows, quote unquote, knows what to do, because it affects pain at the location of the pain. So for example, Tylenol, people might not know this, Tylenol works on the brain center. It actually works on where your brain perceives pain. Aspirin, or they're called nonsteroidals, ibuprofen's in that category, naproxen, things like that. They act at the site. Let's say you have an arthritic knee. There's something called prostaglandins that are being released that are pain mediators. They amp up the pain, they start the inflammatory process, which is the intent of the inflammatory process from the body's perspective is to heal the knee. But it actually, because there's something called osteoclasts and osteoblasts that are released, one breaks it down, one builds it up. If your system's out of whack, you're going to get more breaking down than building up. Now you got a problem. What CellFit does in that scenario, it acts because it'll recognize the musculoskeletal system and all of those molecules. It'll sit there, it'll bring prostaglandin synthesis back into equilibrium, and it will actually start the healing process as well. Whether it be, you're right, we have Alzheimer's patients that see benefit. Why? Because the therapeutic enzyme also can sit in the brain. It kind of ferrets out wherever there's anything going wrong. Those sensors, if you will, they will actually unlock in whatever cell system is the problem. The good stuff gets in, the bad stuff gets fixed, and then you're ready to not just be at stasis, but go to the next level of healing. I hope that makes sense.
It does. It helps because at first I remember talking with Michelle, and she's back with us again. Thanks for sticking with us, Michelle. I know your internet's trying to kick you out of this conversation, and we want you. Yeah. So I was telling Tricia that when we first met and you were explaining Cell-Fit, I was like, it almost sounds like, oh my gosh, it's too good to be true. And how does Cell-Fit know where to go in your body to which cells you need? Yeah. So I just want to hear your thoughts on all this.
Oh, my thoughts, well, Cell-Fit first off, and I don't know what you guys covered, so hopefully I don't repeat. But what I am going to go into is my own personal testimony with Cell-Fit. Because the reason why I stand at Seats at Table and I speak to as many people as I do every single day is because I know what it's done for me personally. And I know that improving the quality of life of a person is the most important thing. Health is wealth. I mean, health is really everything. Without that, you know, what can you do? So quality of life is everything. And what it's done for me personally is not long before we launched Cell-Fit, I had suffered a pretty bad neck injury. We have 7 cervical discs in our neck. I managed to herniate 4 out of 7 because I'm an overachiever. But so it was bad. I know, joke about it now because I'm pain free, but it was to the point where I spent days sitting on the couch. I am not that person. Tricia knows that. She calls me kinetic. I don't stop moving. I was a fitness trainer in my 30s. I've done all kinds of crazy things, from boxing the ring to crazy beast of the east mud runs and jumping over fire. I've done all that, and my body paid for it. I've had 2 shoulder surgeries in my early 40s, and then zoom forward, I get this neck injury, and so chiropractors, acupuncture, physical therapists, massage therapists, all on speed dial. I wanted to take a more natural approach. I was trying turmeric. I was trying CBD. I was trying all kinds of ways to feel better because the pain was to the point where this kinetic person who likes to keep moving just wanted to sit on the couch and close her eyes because I would get really bad headaches and I would get severe pain down my right arm. The only thing at that point in time that was helping, that would take the edge off, was ibuprofen. 800 milligrams of ibuprofen to be exact. Totally not sustainable. And we were getting close to the launch of our Cell-Fit capsules. And my best friend and our top biochemist here said to me, please just wait. And I was on the schedule for surgery because I was at the point where, what else do I do? Nothing else seemed to be working. And I'm so happy I waited because Cell-Fit was launched. I was the first person to ever take the capsule. And I woke up, Tricia was the next day, and I had my range of motion and the stiffness was just bad. I'm like, wow, what's going on? How is this possible? In disbelief, I call her up. I said, you're not going to believe this. I'm like, I can move my neck. And we're like, we didn't expect it to work that quickly. And then it wasn't long after that, my pain subsided. I've been that way for 2 years now. I haven't taken ibuprofen. I threw all my supplements, the ibuprofen, out into the trash. And when I do something stupid, because I tell people it doesn't stop me from doing stupid things, and I do stupid things sometimes, and I hurt myself. Because now that I start to feel better, I want to do everything I did when I was 35, but I want to do it right now. And so if I do hurt myself, the beauty of Cell-Fit is it's so safe and effective for real, not like the other thing.
So with something like that, with an acute issue of, I'm sure she had all kinds of inflammation, her body trying to protect her neck. Was it or was it her back?
It was her neck, her cervical bones in her neck. Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost worse.
Yeah. I mean, anything with the spine sounds just terrifying to me because we know it's protecting our nerves. I mean, that's where people become paralyzed and so forth. So that's an acute condition, also a ton of pain, inflammation. So would she take just 1 capsule a day, or would she be at a therapeutic dosage that would be different?
So she started off, and I remember this very well, and she's right. She was the first person ever to take Self-Fit, and we were both shocked at how quickly it worked. We knew it was going to be good. That was really good. So she started off with one a day. She still continues on one a day, as do most folks who take Self-Fit. Now, when she injures herself, I remember she was running on a beach. She stepped the wrong way and did a little thing with her knee. What she did was take 2. And that's what we recommend. If you have something where you need a little bit more, the good news is that Self-Fit, the therapeutic enzyme, has been tested at even higher doses. It is not a problem. One of the reasons it goes to work so quickly is that our product is 100% pure. It's manufactured in the United States of America to the highest purity and bioavailability standards. We do all third-party testing to make sure every batch is at that therapeutic level. And because it's something your body recognizes right away, and it has a very short half-life. Half-life is about 14 hours. It gets in quick, it acts quick. And then if you do need a little bit more, we do have folks who go up to 2 every now and again. You can take 2 tablets consistently. Most people take 1 as a general rule, and then if they need a little extra bump, they take 2 for a short period of time. It's always safe, and it's super effective at even 1 capsule a day because it's so pure and because it's so bioavailable.
And I'm curious, you said it's made here in the US of A, and is it made from seaweed or something like that?
It has sea kelp in it as an extra nutrient. So that's another reason you don't need other supplements. And by the way, other supplements are made 100% in China or India or sometimes Bangladesh. Some of those places that don't have the safety and purity standards that we have. Sometimes they scrape whatever's on the floor and put it in the capsule, sawdust, all of those things. So we wanted to have, because it boosts the what the cells are trying to achieve if they have the food that they need. So, the therapeutic enzyme gets in there and it opens everything up and it starts to work to, like we talked about in the mitochondria, but then also that food, that energy, that food source that's needed, that comes from the purest form of sea kelp, because we know that sea kelp is indeed a superfood. And so the two work beautifully in tandem and it gets you where you need to go.
So tell me now about the skincare line, because that's news to me. I did not know that. Is that relatively new?
Yeah, we just launched that first week in April.
Okay, that's why it's new to me.
Super excited. Yeah, very excited about it. And I'm going to, this one, I know you finally have me, but I'm going to toss it to Tricia because she is our she's our guru for everything, but she certainly is a skincare guru as well. So yeah, go ahead, Trish.
Oh no, you're certainly, you're the clinician, Michelle, and your testimony is invaluable. And we were so excited about what we were seeing with the inside workings of when you take Self-Fit. We also want, there are tremendous benefits for skin, hair, nails. We wanted to do our first line extension in that arena. I mean, we've already got the next 4 line extensions planned out. This was the first one that is now available, and it's a face cream as well as a body smoother. And I will tell you that I was an Estee Lauder girl all my life. I mean, I have always been a skincare fanatic. I have the creams, I have the serums, I have the eye stuff, I have the neck stuff, I have the crepe stuff, I have, you name it, I've got something for it. And it was a mishmash of, Estee Lauder was kind of my favorite one, did a lot of Lancome products. And I even said to Michelle, like, this is going to be great because, again, it's something that your body naturally recognizes. Your skin is already thirsty for this. And it's just like the oral formulation. I put it on, and again, I have hundreds of dollars worth of creams. I'm not a Botox person. I have friends who are. I don't begrudge anyone. I don't like the toxin aspect of it. I would probably not do that, but I am a cream girl. Again, I had a cream for everything. When I tried Self-Fit, I can't tell you how many. I also am a sun girl. I windsurfed in my day. I was playing tennis. I was a beach girl. I'd be out for 8 hours. You don't go through that. I still had sunscreen on, but that's not always going to cut it. I have some freckles that I just had gotten used to. They're there. How quickly, Michelle, I didn't even have time to take a picture because I said I would have taken a before and after. It worked within the first 2 days. I have now completely replaced my Estee Lauder creams. This is something that not only, again, the face cream, it drinks right in, and it gets to work at the cellular level. So I'll give you a quick example of collagen that, that there have been so many, there's ceramides that are all the rage. There was the cantaloupe enzyme, way back when, the cantaloupe protein. These are all things that sit on the surface of your skin. It's just like a vitamin that's not getting into the cells that kind of goes in and then it goes right out. It's kind of the same thing when you put a lot of these ceramide complexes or collagen or whatever. It goes into the skin, but it doesn't do anything. It gets flushed out because your cells need to produce those things. You need to produce endogenous collagen. So how do you do that? It's not by getting the collagen on the skin or even into your body. It's by getting your cellular mechanics in sync and working right again so your body can produce the collagen and also the nutrients that will help boost that production. That's what Cellfit does, again, on the inside, but as well as now on the outside. We have, I wish I could show you, I wish the camera could pick up the fine lines. Michelle did take some before and after pictures. We have so did your sister-in-law. It's within, like, these other products like SD, like Lancome, they'll say, you see in a couple of months, you'll see maybe some improvement. Michelle's pictures, I think it was correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't it within the first week?
It was definitely within 10 days, and that's shooting far. Yeah.
And it's noticeable. You've got, what works that quickly? And again, it's because we are serving up what your body craves. It's what's depleted, and when you put back in what it's looking for, it only makes sense. So we are off and running about 6 weeks with the skincare line. And, we've been talking to a number of distributors who, we have one in New Jersey on the shore I talked to him this morning. He's already gone through 2 cases of the skincare products, and he pairs it with cryotherapy. So that's another thing that's really getting to be kind of a hot topic, and it just enhances him. It's differentiation for him because as more and more wellness centers start doing cryo, he wants to be able to say, all right, but my cryo is better because I pair it with this therapeutic enzyme. And so it's really, I think, the beginning of what is going to be the new wave, not in just wellness, but also in skincare. We haven't had a new breakthrough in skincare products because I follow this. We haven't had it in about 20 years. This is the first thing.
We have it now.
Truly new on the market.
Yeah. Well, and it's a breakthrough. I don't know what you consider the last breakthrough because I don't really follow this stuff. I get overwhelmed. You go into like one of these beauty stores and it's 7,000 different products and everyone claims to be the best. And then I don't know, to your point earlier, I don't know where these things are made. I don't know I'm not a chemist. I look at the ingredients. I don't know if these are good or bad. I'm not going to do Botox. I'm not interested in that. Again, no shame in that game. It's just not for me. So I'm always looking for something I can trust. And I just don't feel like I can trust anything.
Yeah. Well, we're going to send you some. We're going to send you a face cream and a body smoother so that you can try it. And I think you're going to fall in love with it. And as we have, and we really, I'll punctuate it with this, that this is the culmination of my career. As I mentioned, I started as a biochemist doing academic research. Then I went into the big bad pharma world, saw what was wrong, saw what was broken, and I knew how to fix it with your own cells. And now in doing this, it took me 3 years to develop this product. We cut no corners. One of the first discussions that Michelle and I had was, this is going to be exquisite. We believe in excellence in every way, shape, and form, and this was going to be no exception. And so it's because of that care that we put into it that we believe it works so well. And this is full circle for me. And we adhere to not just the highest ethical standards. We're a Christian-based company. We are believers. We believe we answer to a higher authority anyway. And so we really believe that, of course we're a business, nothing wrong in America with, being a business, but our primary goal is to get wellness into the hands of people who truly need it, who are truly thirsty for it. Not only are your cells thirsty for this therapeutic enzyme, humanity is thirsty for getting back to true health that your body's capable of. And we took this detour as a human species into the abyss of pharmaceuticals. We can get out with this revolutionary perspective on the healthcare industry. And as I mentioned, making America truly, truly healthy again from the inside out. That's what we're dedicated to.
I mean, I'm all over here, like all excited. This is like, you're so speaking my language. I'm like, this is amazing. It's to me, you do feel like you can trust people more. I mean, I'm Christian to Christian. I mean, that's part of where we are in the world, and we see people that, again, they don't believe in God. They don't think anyone's watching them when no one else is looking. Yeah, and Christians were like, "Yeah, God, I know you're watching." Like we just keep ourselves in check more because we know that like we can't. That what is done in the dark is still seen by God. Mm-hmm. And so some of these corrupt corporations that have committed these atrocities against humanity, and that's not even hyperbolic to say, you just wonder, like, how do you sleep at night? Because like God knows what happened, and there will be justice in the end, but it's very exciting. I'm sure you're really thrilled to be part of this movement because it really is a perfect time with Kennedy being the HHS director. And I know he's got a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of powerful interest. I mean, I know Big Pharma is the biggest lobbyist, right? They have like, I think I heard recently 1,800 lobbyists or something crazy. There's like 3 lobbyists for every congressperson and senator in DC. So there's such a powerful entity, and they really, I was telling my husband the other day, I said, growing up in the 70s and 80s, you always hear about like the Central American companies that were run by drug cartels. I was like, well, we're run by pharma, like literally, like that is not even the parallel is accurate. We are run by prescription medicine, maybe not street drugs, but by pharma in general. They own all our advertising because they pay off. Brought to you by Pfizer. No offense, Trish. I know that was you. Those were your people for a while.
No, but they're not anymore. And I always say that all it means is I know where they hide the secrets and I know where they put the money. And so I'm committed to, I look at everything as a journey. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason that I took that
yes.
part of my journey because now I know.
Yes.
I saw it from both sides and I know what side is better.
And that's so
why we're dedicated.
You saw behind the curtain.
Yep.
That's what I love. It's like the Wizard of Oz, right? You were there. Like I'm back there, and I see that he's no great, powerful Wizard of Oz. He's just this little dude who's got low self-esteem. Like so, you were in there in the belly of the beast, and so you can come out with so informed as to what's actually going on. Because some people like me who are always like, you like you were talking about earlier, like you're the fun one at the cocktail party because you go deep into cellular science. Well, I'm the fun one at the cocktail party. I go in there with 5 seconds. I'm like pharma, and people are like, here she goes again. I bet, but it comes from a place of loving people and knowing that they're being lied to and they're poisoning themselves in many cases. People like all these SSRIs. As a psychologist, this like cuts to the quick for me. They think they're helping their depression. They're poisoning themselves. It affects their libido, their sex drive, their weight. It affects, and sometimes irreparably. Like they're on an SSRI as a teenager, and at age 35, they can't even enjoy pleasurable sex with their husband. Oh, well, now I'm really depressed. People understand that. Oh, they pop it like it's a Skittle, sure, which is also horrible.
I'm sure pharma has a solution for that too, which is only going to mess up something else. So
right,
that's the hamster wheel of pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
And it's by design. It's a feature. It's not a bug. So I do appreciate your expertise, having been in that conventional pharma modality, and then to see what wasn't working. So I think you guys are poised for just a really wonderful revolution that's happening outside of what you're bringing to the table. And then I'm hoping that you're able to make a lot of inroads to these folks that have the kind of influence that can help get your product to the masses. So I know you're doing shows and events and conventions, I would imagine. What's next for you as a brand, and where do you hope to take this?
Well, as I mentioned, we have several line extensions already in the works. So that's, our cycle is that we reinvest in the science, in the real science, the science that's helping people. And so we're on that exciting journey. As you mentioned, we're looking to get the word out. That's our main focus because we see success as, when we see healthy people and people being restored to healthy lives, that makes our day. That makes our life.
We truly do the happy dance.
We do. And, what our next steps really are in terms of, distribution, we're focusing on the United States. And then we also are opening up worldwide. So we do have a Self-Fit Canada already. Now, as you know, with the tariff situations, that's been a real nail biter. But we have confidence in this administration. We have confidence that President Trump is going to forge the way for fair and free trade. And so all those tariffs, we've sold in Canada already, and they slap a $50 tariff on every one of our products.
Whoa.
But that shows you how, Canadians want to be healthy too, right? So hopefully that tariff situation will subside. I do believe it will. We have customers already that are in Thailand that also have a tariff. In that situation, it's even more of a tariff. But the point is that healthcare should know no bounds. And when we have an administration that's working to make sure that American-made products, which are the best in the world, which Self-Fit is, that we can be the medicine cabinet of the world again. How frightening was it during the pandemic when we had to look to China and India to be our medicine chest, our medicine cabinet? New Jersey, where I am, we used to be, not only was America the medicine cabinet, New Jersey was the door of that cabinet. Not any longer for a long time, but now we believe that we're going to lead the way. Our product is made in the Sunshine State of Florida, but we also have a New Jersey presence, and we have a long history with being the pharmaceutical capital. Let's be the therapeutic enzyme capital, and let's make this America and particularly New Jersey and Florida and the rest of us, Midwest. Let's make this ground zero for healthy, for problem solving, for solutions, not just in healthcare. And I'll quickly jump to what you just mentioned about the lobbyists. It's not even just the pharmaceutical lobbyists. It's also the pharmaceutical benefit management system, the insurance companies. I ran for Congress. That's a whole other life and a whole other story. But I authored the proposed American Healthcare Restoration Act that gets the healthcare decisions back where it should have been all along, between the patient and the physician. Get government out of that healthcare equation. When you look at those PBMs that tell you and that tell anybody in the insurance industry that partakes of insurance, they tell you how you're going to spend your healthcare dollars. I was at CPAC in 2019, and I was interviewed on Broadcast Row by Liberty Health Share, which the CEO was sitting right next to me, and he introduced President Trump at that CPAC. He was one of the two main sponsors. And he said, this is the plan to get behind, because we're all infuriated about the fact that our healthcare dollars are being wasted. What other industry will tell you that you have to spend $25,000 out of pocket before you see a dime of benefit? I don't know how they sold that to the American people, but that's part of what has to be fixed. And so we take that 360-degree approach. Once we fix the payer system and once we get government out of that decision, now we can come in with the therapeutic enzyme that really is going to be revolutionary. And one more quick point on line extensions. So we have a number of specific keys that we're developing. So as I mentioned, Self-Fit itself, our therapeutic enzyme currently is the skeleton key that opens every system. We also want to fine tune that and offer specific other keys that will help to fine tune those intracellular environments as well. So all that together, we have a very robust and aggressive 5-year plan, but we plan on being the revolution in healthcare, not just in America, but something that all the world can benefit from.
Well, I am so behind you guys. I'm so thankful for your time today, ladies. And just thank you for leaving us on that high note of inspiration and belief that we really can. Because gosh, you walk around town, see people just so unhealthy, and that their quality of life, people who are like my age and they're in scooters at the store because they can't get around. I just think about, there's just chronic disease, there's chronic lack of health. And I think you look at pictures like when my dad was little, and he was born in 1931, and you see the kids, they look tiny now. They're all skinny, and yes, it was a depression, but also they were just running around outside, and people were so much healthier. And if we, like you said earlier, if we don't have health, we have nothing. Health is wealth. That's the most wealthy we can be, is to have the health that we should have.
and just think about how productive a healthy society could be.
Yes.
Right? So much more productive in the workforce. So we can do this here. There's no reason why we can't. We are doing it. Tricia and I, we're going to be like two little bulls going out there and making sure. Yeah, you can't. Well, she's unstoppable, and I'm right behind her, and I'm unstoppable as well. There's no reason for this country to be sick. We shouldn't have a system of sickness, but a system of wellness. That's what our goal is. That's what we're shooting for. And I believe we've started it already with our therapeutic enzyme. There's no reason to live with chronic disease, chronic pain. There's no reason to live with a Ziploc baggie full of prescription drugs that are only making you sicker, keeping you in the SKU as a customer of big pharma, and really not helping you live a very healthy, full quality of life. So that's what we're about. We're passionate about it. And we're going to keep fighting.
Perfect. Where can people go ahead and check out your website? It's cellfit.com.
It's actually cellfithealth.com.
Okay.
And even if you just type in Cellfit, it should pop up. So that's cellfithealth.com. And like I mentioned on Facebook, we have all of our testimonials. That's Cellfit Health. If you look that up, please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We're high touch. A person answers the phone when you call our company. We want to make sure that our customers are well taken care of, well nourished at the cellular level, and that we all get to this wonderful, bright future together.
Yeah. Thank you again so much for joining me today.
And if you're in the Naples area, come see me over at Seeds at the Table. I'm there a lot. Come say hello. Thanks so much. Thanks. I really appreciate it.
No. Thank you.
Love and Life with Dr. Karen and Pastor Elliot is produced by Tim May and executive producer Dr. Karen Anders Nabel. For more information about Love and Life, please go to loveandlifemedia.com.